Hey Richie, what's that you got there?
Caesar, look at my moon bags. I'm rich.
That's great, Richie. But maybe you should take some profit on those.
What? Sell my moon bags? Are you crazy?
I think it's a good idea.
Nah, you're lost your mind. What's the worst that could happen?
Hello and welcome to Caesar's Snack Sandwich. Today we're on Ethereum doing a semi-beginner's video about taking profits. Now there's a lot of videos out there already about how to take profits, like how to ladder out and so forth. And there are other videos about when to take profits, like when is the top, when should you get out and so forth like this. But there's not a lot of videos out there about what to do after you take profits. That's what this video is for. So let's go over to a chart and I will go through a few different categories of things you can take advantage of if you decide to take profits. Okay, so here we have Dollar Bill from our other video, okay? He's gotten into some investments, he's purchased some cryptocurrencies, and he's watched the price moon. The price has gone up quite a bit, and he's feeling nice and happy, and he's a little bit worried that the price is going to come back down, which they almost always do. They might not come down all the way, but they do come down eventually. So he's a little bit worried, and he's thinking about, I need to take some profit. I need to take some off the table. You never get poor taking profits. You never go broke taking profits. So he's deciding to do that. So Logan's come along and said, hey, USDC, or some DICE tokens. These are US dollar fiat pegged stablecoins. Now, in this video, I have decided to use these two tokens. You could use any other stablecoins you felt are necessary. The idea is that most people live in US dollars. When you buy a house, you don't think, how many cars is this house worth? No, you think how many US dollars, right? So maybe it's not US dollars, maybe you live in Europe, or maybe you live in some other country and it's a different dollar, or it's a different fiat currency. But we're going to use stablecoin of US dollar stablecoins in this video because they're the most liquid. There's the most supply of them on Ethereum and in DeFi. So they are the best choice right now. Now Euro's kind of growing, but it's not there yet. Okay, some of these options that I will talk about will not be available to anything except these two stablecoins or some other variations of them. Okay, like USDT or so forth. But I've chosen these two. Okay, so let's moving on. So the first category is you could lend them. So let's say he bought Bitcoin or whatever, maybe some coin, and it went up in value, and he could sell some of those for DAI or USDC, and he could lend them in these lending platforms. So the biggest ones out right now are Aave, Compound, and Cream. Now they all have their own little particular, idiosyncrasies. I've made videos about all of them. I've made a video about all three at the same time, and you can watch that video here. Okay, now let's start at the bottom. Cream. Cream is not as popular as these two. It doesn't have as much liquidity, but it has a lot of options. But today we're only worried about the DAI and USDC option. Okay, so you will have to go to these specific websites and check the APY just for the lending. Okay, I'll show you that later when I go into the actual browser and show you them. But you have to remember, when you lend here, the APY is completely based on the borrow rate, the utilization. So if I put $100 in here and someone borrows $50, then my APY will be much more than if I just put 100 and that person borrows $10. Now, of course, you're talking about a lot more money than $110, but you get the point, right? So the APYs on these are very unstable and they can fluctuate quite a bit, but they are easy and they are safe, and I wouldn't say completely safe, but they are safe to the point where you have very little interaction, very little contract stuff going on. It's just, you're basically just lending, put it that way. So the risk is lower. Okay, so that's these three here. You can check them out one by one and decide whether or not you want to take your cashed out DAI and put it in one of these. Okay, the next option is a yielder. Now there are I've chosen these 3. There are more than these 3, but these are the 3 that I've chosen that I know a fair bit about. And what these ones do is they allow you to put one of these coins or a combination of these coins into them, and then they use these coins in other protocols in order to make some yield. So for example, Yearn Finance will take your DAI and stick it in Compound. Stick it in a few times actually. I have a video on that, which I'll put up here right now. And you can you get rewarded in comp tokens. Then Yearn will sell those comp tokens and get you more of your DAI. So if you put DAI in Yearn, it's going to do things with the DAI in order to increase the yield beyond just lending it. Okay, the same with Harvest. Harvest has a whole bunch of stablecoin pools, and Idle has a few of them. Okay, so these are some choices of yield farming or yield aggregators. Okay, so you can check those out. The next one is liquidity providing. Now, I don't normally like providing liquidity because there is a chance of impermanent loss. And if you don't know what impermanent loss is, I don't actually have a video on it because there are a lot of videos on it on YouTube, and you can check one of those, okay? And basically, if you have 2 assets and the value of these assets changes quite a bit in relation to each other, you can get some impermanent loss. However, these are both pegged to the US dollar. So this is $1 US and this is $1 US. So the change of these 2 will be very, very little. It will change a little bit from trading, but it'll get arbitraged right back to 1-to-1. So if you provide liquidity into these different liquidity pools, Uniswap, SushiSwap, 1inch exchange, or the big daddy of them, Curve Finance, you can make money off people trading these tokens. So people will come to these places, and they will trade DAI for USDC or USDC for DAI, and you will get a small portion of these fees. And it's all based on trading volume. So you would have to check through these and see which one you like the best, which one has the highest volume and the highest fees, and decide on which one you would like to use the most. Okay, so these are some options that you can try to take advantage of. You can lend your US dollar stablecoin, you can put it in a yield farmer or a yield aggregator, or you can provide it as liquidity, but you'll probably, in all of these cases, you're going to need to, well, not Curve, but in most of these cases, you're going to need to have 2 of them. So you'll need to half to DAI and half to USDC, but you can just go there with your DAI and split it into half DAI, half USDC, and then stick it in there. So these are the simplest options. So remember, this is a place to put your US dollar cash out profits and then wait for a dip, or wait for a huge dip, or wait for another opportunity to buy a new coin or something like that. Okay, so this is something you can think about doing in between, your pumps and dumps. Okay, now another option, which is, pretty popular now, is you can just go out to Bitcoin, the big gold one. You can just sell your asset and turn it into Bitcoin and just leave it in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been pretty safe and pretty, of course it has its ups and downs, but you can also consider just doing that instead. Okay, so that pretty much covers that. Let's go over to the browser and let's look at a few of these protocols, and I'll talk a little bit about them, but not much. So the first one I mentioned was lending on Aave. So as you can see, you have DAI and USDC stablecoins. There's quite a bit of there's quite a bit already put in here, and the APY is at 4.5 and 4.7 respectively, but this could change within a few hours or a day or so. And there's a whole bunch of other stable coins in here. Like, look, there's USDC, TUSDC, USDT, SDUSDC, BUSD. Yeah, you can choose them. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of stable coins that you could use for this strategy. Okay, so the second one is Comp, which also has a lot fewer options, just DAI and USDC and Tether. But the APYs, again, they differ. Look at this one, 20%, but maybe tomorrow it will be much less. Like, who knows, right? So you kind of have to take a guess at it. Okay, you can try. Okay, so there's Comp. Now remember, when you do lend on Comp, you will also get Comp tokens, so that's an extra incentive. So if you're getting 6% here and you're getting 6% here, then you might want to go with Comp, because at least you're going to get a few Comp tokens based on, I don't know the percentages, but they will reward you a little bit with Comp tokens just for lending here. Okay, and the last one is Cream. Cream again has, you know, a bunch of stable coins. You just have to look through and find the ones that you would like to use. And now there are some pools that are incentivized and they give you rewards. You come to here to rewards, and when you're planning on doing this, you can check and see, is this asset going to be rewarded with any kind of Cream tokens? So right now this is rewarded, this is rewarded, these are the ones rewarded, but I don't see any stable coins, right? So you'd have to come and check. So these are the old ones that were rewarded before, but so there's a possibility that at the time when you have stable coins that there might be an incentive here in Cream to supply, but probably not, but it's possible. So these are the three major, you know, the three major lending platforms. I do have a video specific on Aave because this is version 2. You can go to version 1 as well and check those prices. I have a video right here on version 2 and you can check that out. Okay, so the next one. So we talked about the yield aggregators, and this is Yearn Finance. I have a lot of videos. You can check my channel and you can see I have an entire playlist just dedicated to Yearn Finance. So you can check that out. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of pools. So this is actually DAI USDC from Compound. I made a video on this. You can watch that if you want. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of USDC options on Yearn to make you some pretty good yields. Now, if you come here and you see, 0%, that doesn't mean it's broken. It just means that the APY or the API, the feed of the price, is not quite calculating properly yet. But if the vault is here, it's public, it is running, it is working. It's just this website's a little bit buggy in this sense about these APYs. Okay. Harvest Finance. As you can see, Harvest has a whole bunch of USDC, or all these curve ones are basically the same thing as what I showed you at Yearn. They're just, you would supply a curve and then you bring the token here and you get these kinds of percentages. Now these percentages are also giving you the curve auto harvest turned into 3 CRV, and it's also giving you some harvest rewards, harvest tokens. So this is a good option as well. You can consider this. There has been exploits in this website in the past, so use caution and don't put all your money in one place. Idle Finance is another one I made a video about, kind of. I talked a little bit about it, and when I was talking about the Yearn Vault, which you can find the video in my playlist as well. Now, I'm not going to go into all the liquidity because there's quite a few of them, and this getting kind of long, but you can research those as well, providing liquidity to Uniswap or 1inch or any Curve Finance. And if you wanted to choose one, if you just want me to tell you which one to use, I would say try Curve first, because it's very popular for trading stablecoins, and that's what you want. You want people trading stablecoin for stablecoin in order for you to get the fees from that. So that's what I would suggest. Try Curve if you wanted to go the stablecoin way. But if you went with Curve, you might as well consider putting your Curve LP here or putting your Curve token here. Okay, so that pretty much covers it. I hope this has been helpful and I hope this has been useful. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask me them in the comments below, or you can hit me up on Telegram or Twitter or whatever. Okay, thank you. Goodbye. Hello, thank you so much for watching, and if you'd like to support the channel, there are a few ways you can help me out a lot. Number one is I have a Gitcoin grant. This is a pretty unique way to help out. Basically, the way this system works is if you supply me with any kind of donation, then the protocol itself will also match your donation with like an increasing amount the more the people donate to me. So for example, if you were to give me 1 DAI, the protocol will give me 4 DAI, which is great, so your 1 DAI can go a long way. So please feel free to come here and check this out. Link to this will be in the description. Another way you could support me is by going to YGift, link in the description. And here, where this says collect for me, it would say tip. You tip this, and you could give me some YUSD if you want. And that would definitely help me out quite a bit. Another way you could support me is you could check out my Rarible store and purchase an NFT. Now, the best kind of support is just you watching my videos and liking them and subscribing. So if you did that, thanks so much for doing that, and goodbye.